Hey guys, KishiRyuOh here with another video. This time I'll be showing you guys the combination for the Ryusou Gattai KishiRyuOh 5 Knights from Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. This is the combination of all 5 Ryusoulgers, Kishiryu partners, into one powerful mecha. So, let's get started. So first off, we're going to prep KishiRyuOh. For him, you're going to want to remove all the pieces, so take off the cannons, remove the tail, remove the drills and the head. Then we'll rotate the body around 180 degrees. Flip it around to the back, press the button on the bottom and rotate up the torso and flip down the arms. Next, we'll take Tricane, separate the body in two, then take the front half, attach on one of the can pieces facing this way onto there. Then plug that onto the right shoulder. And we'll basically do the same thing with Ankylose. Split her apart. Put on a cannon facing this way, then stick her onto the left shoulder. Next, for Tigerance, we're going to completely disassemble him. Take the front half of his body, plug him onto the right arm, then take the head and place it onto the lance piece, and plug that into the hand, as well as take one of the two kind of shield pieces and plug that onto the waist, right there. Then we're going to also completely disassemble Mill Needle. We're going to take this guard piece, or this plate piece, with the legs facing downwards. Take the two body halves and connect them onto the connectors, sandwiched like this, so that these pegs are sticking outwards. Then take KishiRyuOh's head and plug it into the middle pegs to hold it all together. We'll raise up the left arm 1 notch and plug that into the hand. Next we'll take the tail piece and plug KishiRyuOh's drills onto the sides. And plug that onto the chest. Then, going to plug KishiRyuOh's tail into the back. And take Tigerance's tail, split it open into a V shape, and plug that onto the top here, making sure that these two pegs fit into this crevice. And finally, we'll take the red Ryusou, flip it around, and plug it in as the head. And here we have KishiRyuOh 5 Knights. So, let's take a look. So first off, this combination is a bit forward heavy, mainly because of this piece here, so it's something you have to be rather careful of. With this combination, it doesn't use all the pieces, but it does use them in such a way that each of the 5 Kishiryu has a different part of the body that they take up. KishiRyuOh has his head on the left hand, Tricane is the right shoulder, Ankylose the left shoulder, Tigerance, the right arm, and Mill Needle, the chest. Definitely does spread out the colors quite a lot, and does have some interesting pieces to it, such as, of course, this big shield piece, and the chest cannon with drills on the sides. Now, like this, the articulation is basically limited to just the lowered arm and one notch up positions because of the drills here kind of blocking the way. And though, of course, you do also have the arm functionality for KishiRyuOh, or the jaw functionality, rather. Now, the reason why the combination has you raise the arm up like this is because if you try to put it down, it doesn't go all the way. So if you want to do that, you would have to basically swivel this out to the side. However, there is a little change you can make so that you can have it lowered in a proper neutral position, which is basically just to take out this piece and switch out for the one where the legs are facing upwards. That way, if it's in hand like so, you can have it resting neutrally like that. It does slightly get in the way of the drills, but I think that's a small sacrifice for kind of a just simple but effective change. And with this combination, basically each part, of course, has its own way of attacking. The biting action of the jaw, the sword horn, the lance, the cannons, and the drills. Of course, the chest cannon also works as such. Now, as far as the other pieces go, you can, of course, rearrange this as you see fit to kind of create your own version of this combination to make use of all the different pieces. And I personally have come up with something like that. So, first thing I like to do is to, of course, take this piece here, and similar to what I do with KishiRyuOh Tiger Ants, play it on with this piece being more flush with the rest of the arm. Then, I'm going to take the other halves of Ankylosing and Trichain and plug these onto the sides of the legs, down here, and down here. Then we'll come back behind the head, take the leg pieces we didn't use, flip them around, and peg them into these holes on the tail. Then take the other half of Tiger Ants' body and plug that into the pegs on the back of the tail. Then plug this onto the back of the legs. Plug Mill Needle's head on top of here. And then take the arm piece, or the extra spike piece from Mill Needle, and plug it onto the left arm. And there we have my custom complete version of KishiRyuOh 5 Nights. I personally do like the base, but I do feel like this is a pretty good way of making use of all the different pieces. Each of them has somewhere to go, and they're not too intrusive. Also adds a little bit to the silhouette, having this kind of towering backpack. But I feel like this spreads out the colors even more so than before. And then an alternate thing to do would be to make the blue and silver a little bit, or the blue and pink a little bit more prominent by putting them on the front of the legs, or rather on the knees, but I personally prefer them to be on the sides, since that does kind of make the blue and pink actually a bit more visible, since if you had them on the front you would mostly see the silver. But of course, with the Ryusou joint system, you can make your own version of KishiRyuOh 5 Nights as you see fit and use whatever parts you do or don't want to. Though one other cool thing is something you can do to basically have the shield piece held at a pretty much 90 degrees angle, which is to take this and flip it around like so, then move up the arm one more notch and plug that in. And so now you have the shield facing forward thanks to the angle at which it's being held, which definitely has a better look for posing him doing some kind of biting attack. Lastly, in addition to the steps to create KishiRyuOh 5 Knights, the instructions to Milneedle also gives you an alternate way to combine all 5 Kishiryu into one. And this combination actually builds off of a previous example combination. So to start, we're going to take Tyramigo, Tricaine, and Ankylose, and almost turn them into KishiRyuOh Fortress. So, for a refresher, it's actually a pretty simple combination. We're going to remove the cannons from Tyramigo, and use a button to bring the legs forward like this. We take the drills, attach them to the back halves of the other two, and plug them onto the legs via these rear ports. And from here things get pretty interesting. So to start, we're going to take the cannon pieces, and instead of placing them onto the back, we're actually going to place them onto these connectors on the backs of the arms. Then we're going to take tiger ants, split them apart until we get the back half of the body, the head, and the lance. So we'll plug in the head here, the tail here, flip the legs forward, then flip this whole thing around like so, and connect the cannons to the pegs on the sides. Then take a Milneedle, remove the leg pieces and the body pieces, which will then split up. So we're going to take this back half, place it onto here, and plug one of the plate pieces from Tiger Ants on top. We'll do the same on the other side with the opposite one. Take the body halves with the inner parts facing forward, plug them onto the sides of the cannons, and finally take the tailpiece, split it up completely, plug it onto there, and here we have what I like to dub KishiRyuOh Super Fortress. So like I said, this does build off of the previous KishiRyuOh Fortress and incorporates pieces from the other two Kishiryu. It definitely has a much more powerful look, now armed with this kind of lance laser as well as what we can assume to be missiles from inside here. Plus you can imagine that these pieces would serve as boosters here in the back. Now with this, because of Tiger Ants' head being here, this would prevent you from having a Ryusoulger right inside, but there's a simple fix for that, which is to remove the head here, remove the middle part with the lance, place in the Ryusou, then plug back in the center piece. Just making sure that you kind of maneuver around the Ryusou. You can't exactly see it that well, but when you look at it from an angle like this, you can definitely see the Ryusou right inside. And so this does go show that with all 5 together, you can definitely make a lot of different combinations. And there we go. Overall, I think KishiRyuOh 5 Knights is a very satisfactory combination for a few different reasons. First is that I feel it's a very balanced combination, with each of the 5 main Kishiryu taking up a different key point on the body, where it doesn't feel like it's leaning towards having to make parts from one Kishiryu or another, even if that comes at the price of not using all of the pieces. The second is that it's really a nice feeling to finally have another Dino-themed Sentai with a 5 mech combination for the core Rangers, which is something we haven't seen since the original Kyoryu Sentai Blue Rangers Daijujin. Whereas the other 2 that came in between those had the main combination just being the 3, and actually didn't have any kind of combination that could really use just the 5 for that team. You know, even with Ryusoulger, where it did have 5 core Rangers after Aba Rangers 3, the main combination was still the 3 mech Kyoryujin. So it just does feel nice to have back a 5-piece combination for a 5-man Dino Sentai. The third is that, of course, if you don't like this combination, you can change it and customize it how you see fit. You can use it as few or as many parts as you want, and as I've shown, there are ways to make use of all of the different pieces to make your own version of KishiRyuOh 5 Knights, and as I showed with KishiRyuOh Super Fortress, there are alternate ways you can combine them all together, so it's definitely worth it to get all 5 of these Kishiryu. Now, there are different ways that you can get this. The first way would be to buy it completely piecemeal, which would be the base Kishiryu, the Tricanon Ankylose set, Tiger Rance, and Mill Needle all separately. The second is how I did, which was buying the KishiRyuOh 3 Knight set, then buying the next 2 as they came out. The third is that with the release of Mill Needle, Bandai also released a deluxe KishiRyuOh 5 Knight set, which of course comes with all 5 pieces, so you can make all of the different combinations that come with it. However you decide to buy it, it is definitely a very satisfactory base point, and I definitely say that these are the 5 core parts of the Kishiryu series. So if you're a fan of this series, you're a fan of the toys, you're a fan of these mechs, I can definitely recommend picking up them all so you can get up to this point. Next time, after some delays, I'll finally be reviewing the Deluxe Enmakon. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KishiRyuOh, Rying off.